All right, everyone. Welcome to the Toma Nation's live Sunday broadcast, live stream, I should call it. Um, we're not we're not at 72, 71, 616 East 71st Street um, this afternoon. We're just streaming live on the internet because of the cold weather. We decided to just let everybody stay home and we can do this live stream and everybody will just get the message from the live stream. All right. Well, again, welcome to the Toma Nation. Um, we are a house dedicated to the observance of God. I am Minister Omari Jahi. I'm the co-founder of the Temple of Mercy Association, along with our founder, Minister Raheem Kassed Aten, and our First Lady, Sister Makita Aisha Aten. We there are well, I want to clear some things up before I get started because the last lecture that I gave, which was on legacy, no, not legacy, leprosy. For some reason, YouTube took offense to it, and I'm in YouTube jail now for 3 months. They were saying that I, in my teaching, was giving false information about a medical condition, which I never did because my subject uh, matter that I was teaching on had nothing to do with a medical condition at all. And I said at the beginning of the lecture that wasn't about the disease leprosy. This was about Black people wanting to be white. And I called it leprosy because leprosy is a disease dealing with the skin, the bleaching of the skin. And so that was the reason for the title, but I never spoke about the disease in itself at all. So, but anyway, I want to read this because this is this teaching on today is based off of the Bible scripture. Well, not really based off the Bible scripture, but I just want to lead with this Bible scripture because this is basically what this lecture is about. It's about you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. This is out of the Holy Bible, John 8:32. And for some reason, I'm getting all these. Let me turn my phone off. So I'm sorry if any of you all call my phone, it's not gonna work. So I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait until after the lecture. All right, now this is the message for today. In Toma, we raise our right hand, and I have the Holy Bible here. Voila. Put that down. Left hand, raise our right hand, and we affirm that we will tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help us God. And so help me God, because today I'm going to give you nothing but the truth, the whole truth, the unadulterated truth. I want to open up with this statement because our open enemy worked very hard to tarnish the character and the sanity of those of us that dare to expose their deception. I'm a man of truth, you guys, but I wasn't always this truthful and moral righteous man that's before you now. I wasn't always this. When I met Minister Raheem Kassed Aten, our founder, the founder of the Toma Nation in 1980, I was a hot mess just waiting to happen. He shared with me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that he had gained over years of study and research about God and the people of God. What he shared with me made sense to me and resonated with my spirit, just as I pray this teaching on today is going to resonate with yours. We then concluded that most of the people running the justice system are the same people or relatives of the same people that are responsible for the abuse and misuse of Black people. At some point, now I've been teaching on this, and I'm gonna keep saying it until it kind of catches on and people really get an understanding of what I'm trying to say, because nobody really asks questions anymore to get clarity on what you're saying, you know. But at some point, any abused or misused person or people must make a choice to, one, to give, and two, and accept this position of abuse. Got to give into it, just say that this is life for me, or flip the script and become the abuser themselves. Now I hear y'all. Oh, heck no, brother minister. No, that's wrong, because you can fight against the abuser. You can call the police, and you can. Let me stop you right there. If you listen to the last statement I just made, going to the police. Now, a lot of times, you can get help. It depends on who the abuser is. If the abuser has connections and knows people in high places in politics or in city government or whatever, you just butt out of luck. I hate to tell you that right now. But if it's just some average Joe person, but if he knows somebody, you know, then again, because I mean, just to keep it real, this system, or the people that run this system that we're talking about, I'm speaking of judicial, political, the majority of them are corrupt. The system is not messed up. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the system. It's the people that run the system and that are enforcing the laws, so-called enforcing the laws, are the ones that are corrupt and using deceptive practices to keep the rich and the well-to-do in a specific social spot, while others of us are struggling, trying to get to that particular social spot, because we want to be comfortable. We want to be able to have things for our family leave, things for our children and things of that nature, just like anybody else. But for some reason, we cannot get past this little position or spot that they seem to have a chokehold on us in. Now, this is not my lecture. My lecture is on gun violence, the American way, but this is the preamble to that lecture. Okay, because when you have a people that's been abused and misused for so many years, at some point, you know, these people, like I said, had these two choices. They're going to give in to the abuse and just accept that as the way of life for them and their children and their children's children, or they're going to flip the script. And I'm gonna explain that later, how a person that has been abused can become an abuser and won't even think that they are an abuser, but they really are. Hence, gives birth to the mentality of violence. This mentality is not something that we are born with, but we are taught this violent mindset by example. Now, I want to get right into the teachings. Okay. Now, if anybody has any questions or any comments, you can just type them into the comment section. My sister Ebony, who's working the technical situation behind the scenes for us today, she'll make sure they'll be up on the screen so that I can see if you have a question, and I don't have a problem answering questions or anything like that. All right. So now let's get into it. This subject matter, gun violence, the American way, will reveal the source of not only gun violence but violence in general. It's not only about gun violence, but just violence in general. The subheading, the American way, is an indication of the location that this mentality of violence from the perspective of Black people originated. See, now I'm not saying that this is where violence wholeheartedly originated. I'm saying for us as Black people, this is where it originated for us here in the United States and America. So this is the American way. Violence, by definition, is the behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. So now, some years ago, I wrote an article. Oh, just in case y'all don't know, I'm a journalist. See, press pass. That's me. I'm a journalist, and I write for a local newspaper. I'm not going to say the name of that newspaper because they may not agree with our teachings here at Toma, but in my writings, I wrote an article dealing with gun reform. And the title of that article, and you can, I have to tell you, but if you want to read this article in full, just let us know in the comment section, and I'll get it to you. I can send it to you because I have it in my documents. But the title of this article that I wrote is called "Gun Reform: A Byproduct of Racism and Fear of Confederate Whites." Now, this is a 2-page article. It's 2 pages, right? But I really want to get to the meat of it, because the source of this rivalry or animosity, I would say, between whites and blacks come from the Civil War. See, you have to understand history, and see, when they teach us history in school, they teach it as just FYI, something you should know. We want you to know this about history. George Washington was the first president. Abraham Lincoln never told a lie. It was the biggest lie they ever told. I might switch those up. But my point is that if you don't understand history and how it relates to you and me, I'm speaking about black people, because this is my concern. I understand that there's a lot of things going on with people in the world and things, but I'm concerned about black people and why we're in the condition we're in and how it came about. And if you understand how a thing came about, then we've also taught on a mind concept called reverse engineering, meaning that if you know how a thing was created, then you can reverse create it or dismantle it by going the opposite way by which it was created. So if we understand how we got into this condition, then we can plan by reverse engineering how to get out. And so this is why I feel it's very important that you all understand history and how it relates to us, and not just history just for history's sake. And this is what we're going to deal with today. History. Now, check this out. On December the 15th, 1991, the nation was not at war when the Second Amendment was ratified. But the Civil War did not come into play, the Civil War did come into play on April the 12th, 1861. Okay, now, the Civil War ended May the 9th, 1865. So the Civil War lasted 4 years, okay? Now, check this out. The North had black slaves as a part of their militia. Now, let me explain something to you about a militia, and I want to go into this Second Amendment that everyone seems to keep. Good afternoon, Yolanda. I see you. Tashonda, I didn't see you there. How you doing, Peaches? Peace. Sister Makita, First Lady. Peace, everyone. This Second Amendment that supposedly gives people the right to bear arms, their interpretation of that is false. It is not correct. When the founding fathers fashioned the Constitution, the Second Amendment was based on this. Check this out. It's many arguments surrounded the founding fathers' intent when they wrote the Second Amendment. A well-regulated, now this is what the Second Amendment states. Check this out. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, it's saying that the Second Amendment to bear arms was based on the people of that particular state being able to defend themselves in time of war. This is why at the end of the Civil War, and this is not something that is publicized, but check this out. At the end of the Civil War, all war weapons were confiscated by the government. They were taken away from the civilians. Now, but if the Second Amendment was supposed to be the definition that they give us, that we're supposed to be able to carry it around on the streets and defend ourselves and this and another, why did they take the guns away from the soldiers who were just civilians and had been recruited or drafted into the military, and they gave them guns? Militia. What a militia is, let me find it. I have it here. The definition of a militia, here it is. It is a group of civilians called a militia would be qualified to bear arms under the Second Amendment. An organized group of civilians called a militia. So a militia is a group. It's a group of people that come together to defend the state or whatever. It's just like the draft. If the United States go to war, they draft people and they give them guns in order to fight. At the end of the war, when they are released from the military, those guns are returned to the military. That's what the Second Amendment was about. So when we're talking about the North having blacks that fought for them as a militia, meaning they recruited blacks or drafted blacks to be a part of the war for the North, and the South recruited Native Americans to fight for them in the South. So history teaches us that the North won the battle, which introduced the Emancipation Proclamation freeing enslaved blacks, right? So Southern slave owners were against freeing their blacks and felt they had to take precautions to ensure their way of life. Now, what is meant by that? Now, check this out. Now, Southern white people did not want to give up slaves. So now, when they lost the war and the slaves were freed, if this is the mentality of the slave owners, we have to protect ourselves because they're going to look for retribution. And the reason why they felt that they were going to look for retribution for what they had did to them as a slave, because that's what they would do. That's exactly what they would do if they were in that situation. So they then began to craft a new dialogue about the Second Amendment, which allowed them to have the right to bear arms. To what? Protect themselves. Protect themselves against free black people who they feared were going to come back and attack them for what they had done to us as a people. Now check this out now. So Southern slave owners who were against freeing the slaves and felt they had to take precautions to ensure their way of life and dealing with the freed slaves that had been freed. Now, check this out. Now, hence comes the Ku Klux Klan and the NRA, the National Rifle Association. Now you can understand why the Ku Klux Klan was formed, because these white folks were in fear of their lives and they felt that slaves were going to attack them. And so, like any well, I ain't gonna go there, but you understand what I'm saying here, right? The Ku Klux Klan was formed so that white folks could go on the assault or go on the offense. Instead of waiting for blacks to come and defend themselves, they went on the offense and began to go around killing, hanging, lynching, burning black people. And this is why, or maybe I should ask the questions. Since we really understand what the intent of the founding fathers were when they wrote the Constitution for the Second Amendment, then why do groups like the National Rifle Association, Armed Citizens United, guns rights organizations, the ACU, Firearms Policy Coalition, the FPC, and the Gun Owners of America, GOA, want to sway public opinion toward arming, civilians? Why? Why did they do that? You see, we understand that they were in fear of their lives. They felt that black people were going to kill them, their wives, and their children in their sleep. This is where the concept of the boogeyman came from. The boogeyman, white people were afraid that they were going to get killed in their sleep because Nat Turner, a person that history doesn't teach or talk about Nat Turner. Nat Turner was the original boogeyman who escaped up on a plantation and had a group of slaves with him that were going around at night, going from plantation to plantation, killing plantation owners, white men, their wives, and their children, and the babies too. Hence the term boogeyman. That's where that comes from. White people created that. So don't think. I want you to understand. Being able to connect the dots. See, if you understand why all this stuff is happening, that's why the scripture says, "With all thy getting, get understanding." Because if you could understand what's going on and why it's going on and who's causing it to go on, then you have enough information to make a just decision as to what can be done about it. Right? All right, look at this. In 1871, after the KKK spread throughout the southern states, the NRA was founded. 1871, okay? It is not a coincidence that after the loss to the North, angry Southern Caucasian men began to post themselves in a position that would protect them and their way of life from a perceived black threat. The NRA leaders and their members were dismayed at the poor marksmanship shown by Southern troops during the Civil War. See, the Southern troops and the Native Americans, they weren't good shots. The blacks were. So it could be easily the conclusion could be drawn that blacks helped win the Civil War. So now they believe that if the Southern civilian militia, which were the Native Americans, had been better trained in marksmanship, the South would have won the war. The association's primary goal, this is the NRA, primary goal would be to promote and encourage rifle shooting. This is where the basic beginning of the NRA was rifle shooting. But now, as the NRA is promoting AKAs and all these assault weapons, which if it was for hunting, who wants to kill a deer with an assault weapon, shooting the deer up 25, 50 times with bullets, damaging the meat that they claim that they want to eat? Nobody does that. This is the fear they have these assault rifles for you and I. They thinking that at some point we gonna get fed up, and like I said before, you have two choices. You're either going to accept the position that you're in, or you're going to become the doggone predator, or you're going to become the abuser, or the one that's going to be the killers and the abusers or whatever. That's what they expect. But what I'm seeing is because black people are the true children of God, not Jews, Well, let me even clarify that, because there's no such thing as a Jew. The people of the Bible were Hebrews. Truth, that's facts. Truth, facts. Hebrews. This Jewish thing, I'm not going to go in it because that's not my lecture, but I just wanted to make that statement, because the people of the Bible were black Hebrews. The Bible took place in a continent over in Africa. Black people. Jerusalem. All of that area over there, even though white people have come in and taken it over and things of that nature, this was a black area. So what I'm saying here is the fact that these white fearful Caucasians are to this present day still afraid of the retribution from black people for slavery. Now they also are afraid because black people also now know that the system is fixed, and it's fixed against us, and that we do the time. When they do the crime, they get a pass or a slap on the wrist, or because of their money, they get like OJ, they get a pass. They get to bypass the law based on, okay, we got to, what is this? In coin the phrase white, is that frigidity? Or maybe you meant fraternity. But look, I'm saying all this because what we are dealing with here is terrified white people. They're not going to let you know that they're, okay, I got you. They're not going to let you know that they are terrified, but they are so afraid, because if we get angry enough to where we say enough is enough and we become the hunters, game over. Now, let me be real clear. I'm not saying that this is what we should do. I'm not saying that. But if we did do it, I ain't gonna get in the way. I'm just saying, I'm not advocating that, because God's people, God said it in the commandments, thou shalt not kill. But I want you to understand something, because I only have a few minutes left, about 3 minutes. I want you to understand again why they are so afraid, and understand why Trump is trying to become president again. When he became president the first time, when he got in, he was able, he I forget what it was called, when they gave us all that money, you know, Trump was about this was during COVID, I think, when he and all this money was given out to black people, and the PPP was out and all that crap, you know. And so people was like, hey, Trump has been doing more for us, and he bust out the media, you know, as being fake news. And they was fake news before he ran for president. Why wasn't he saying nothing about the news then? You see what I'm saying? He wasn't saying nothing about the news because the news or broadcasting, most broadcasting systems are ran by Jewish-owned families. You see? And you have to understand that this thing dealing with white supremacy during Hitler's time did not die with Hitler. There are still people that believe in that concept, in that Aryan race, the white superior race. And I don't believe Trump is one of them. Trump is a businessman that's an opportunist. And he'll play on all of those white folks that are Aryan and skinheads, and he'll play on their desire to be supremacists in the country, to get elected as president and get in and do what he want to do and things of that nature. But I'm saying all this to say that when when Trump was president, something happened that nobody's reporting it. There's no media about it. Nothing happened. Nothing's being said about it. But you saw something took place, and nobody asked why. Some of you might not even know. There's a new what's it called? There's a new division of the military now called the United States Space Force. The United States Space Force. Google it. Look it up. This was created, developed under Trump's presidency, when he was president. My time is up, y'all. Look. Yes, the United States Space, SPAC Force. It's a real thing. Now, some people are saying that it's another branch of the Air Force. You already have the Air Force. This is Space Force. Why do they need a force? And these armed forces are for war. What's going on in space that they're not telling us on the planet Earth that's got them afraid again? And they had to create this new division of the military. So my time is up. We're going to be back again on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, 7 to 9. And I'll be concluding on this teaching, giving you more information, and I'll be able to answer questions, I should say, if you have any about anything, and even share more information with you about the Space Force. Why? Yes, sir, I will. Why this Space Force was created? Because it has a lot to do with Black people. I want to tell you that right now. But to know what that is, come back Wednesday, 7 p.m., and we'll continue this. I thank you all for listening. I'm going to leave you as I greeted you in ancient but yet holy words of peace. Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Peace. Black power.
For joining us for our weekly Sunday worship service. We invite family every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street at our new time from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. and on Facebook from 12:30 to 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please feel free to support us with a monetary gift on Cash App at $TOMANATION. Once again, that's $TOMANATION. This will conclude our live. Been listening to will continue live here at the Toma headquarters.